Your body feels like one solid object, but beneath the surface, you are a walking metropolis. Right now, 37 trillion tiny living machines are breathing, dividing, and working in the dark to keep you alive. For almost all of human history, this entire universe of machinery was a total blind spot. We assumed a leaf was just a leaf, and flesh was just flesh, because we lacked the tools to see the reality hidden in plain sight. What we perceive as a single, continuous body is actually an illusion, a macroscopic structure built and maintained by invisible entities operating entirely outside of our daily awareness. In 1665, the British scientist Robert Hooke began peering at the world through early primitive magnification technology, using a compound microscope made of brass and wood. When Hooke examined a thin slice of dead cork, he found that it wasn't solid matter at all. He saw a honeycomb of tiny, hollow compartments, the first time anyone had observed that living things consist of separate units. These sparse, square structures reminded him of the cells of a monastery, the simple, small rooms where monks slept. He coined the term to describe the boxes he saw, and the name has been used in biology ever since. But Hooke was only looking at dead cell walls. It wasn't until the 1670s that Anton van Leeuwenhoek looked at pond water through powerful lenses and discovered animalcules, tiny, single-celled organisms that were actively moving, eating, and very much alive in the water. These discoveries shifted our understanding of existence. The fundamental building block of life is an active, autonomous machine. Every cell relies on three universal components: a membrane to act as a selective border, a working fluid called cytoplasm, and an instruction manual stored in DNA. In rugged prokaryotes like bacteria, this DNA simply floats unprotected in the cytoplasm. Your cells use a more complex architectural standard, the eukaryote. This version pulls the DNA into a central, protected core called the nucleus and introduces specialized internal factories called organelles, like the mitochondria, which generates ATP to power the cell. By compartmentalizing these different tasks into specialized rooms, eukaryotic cells became efficient enough to scale up from microscopic blobs into complex multicellular creatures. Within this complex eukaryotic world, life split its blueprints into two distinct paths, dictated by how the organism gets its energy. Plant cells follow a strategy of extreme stability. Their rigid, self-sufficient architecture includes thick cell walls for structural support, large vacuoles to store water, and chloroplasts, built-in solar panels that convert sunlight into energy. Animal cells abandon that rigidity in favor of mobility. Lacking a cell wall, they have a soft, irregular boundary that allows the cell to be entirely flexible. Because our cells can bend and stretch, we can run, dance, and hunt for nutrients. This mobility is why we don't need chloroplasts. We find our energy in the world instead of waiting for the sun. The fundamental difference between a tree standing still and a human running is a direct result of these microscopic architectural choices. Modern cell theory rests on one final absolute law: omnis cellula acellula. It means every cell in existence comes from a cell that already exists. To create life, a single cell must divide. It copies its DNA, duplicates its organelles, and splits into two identical new cells. It passes on the architectural blueprint with perfect precision. This rule applies to you. Your 37 trillion cells did not appear by magic. They multiplied from just one single fertilized cell. That starting cell traces back through an unbroken, physical chain of microscopic divisions, spanning billions of years to the very beginning of life on Earth. Biology reveals that life is a single, continuous, ancient machine, and you are the latest iteration of its shared blueprint.